Hello and welcome to my League of Legends build website, LoL Solved. So to use it, start by clicking builds, select your champion, so start with Annie. So I have an Annie guide I've written earlier, but we'll go into the build calculator. So the build calculator takes in a champion, a lane, a playstyle, and a set of stats which you can go from low values to high values. And depending on what you put in, it will find you an optimal corresponding build using a genetic algorithm. So at the moment we have ability haste set to low. And if we drop that, you can see the build changes as it removes the ability haste. And we can move it to very high, and as you can see, it puts in loads of ability haste. So we've got cooldown, transcendence, and a early fiendish codex. So there's some more options. So there's mana sustain, which can be low or normal, depending on how much you want. Extra HP says we want our first item to basically have some health on it, so Hextech Rocket Belt meets that with its 250 health. Then we have Stasis, which is basically just Zhonya's Hourglass. So it can be off, on, which puts it roughly around third item usually, just after your shoes, or late, in which case it goes to fourth item, or it would, except it wants it for another reason, probably because it has a lot of ability power and ability haste on it, but that's okay. So the other thing we can do is we can drop down the gap close. If we drop down extra HP as well, we start to get Luden's Tempest build Annie. And if we set this to very high, we actually get Everfrost with Glacial Argument. So, uh, let's say I want to build a guide. I want Annie, but I want Annie with Electrocute, and I just want Mana Flow Band for her mana. I can ask it and it will now produce me a build. So basically all the mana is coming from Mana Flow Band and a keystone is Electrocute. And once we have this, we can click Save as Guide. We can type in Electrocute Annie, choose a picture, click Create Guide, and we've created a guide. So go into New Guides, you can see we have Electrocute Annie here. And if we go back to Builds, click on Annie, and Electrocute Annie appears here. And even though it's a guide, we can still edit it, and we'll upvote it while we're here. So let's show the advanced options. So there are advanced options if you want to play around with them. You can change when the boots are required. So this is the normal boots of speed here, and your tier 2 boots here. Combat length is the amount of time a combat is evaluated over for maximizing DPS. So for burst mages, it's the amount of damage which can be done in 1.5 seconds. Extended combat value, basically this is for champions like Cassiopeia and Brand, which like to extend the combat with their dot items. So if you increase this value here, you'll get more dot items. You can change the amount of mana required by the build by adjusting the mana curve. You can also set the enemy HP, armor, and magic resist, which can also change the items which appear. You can also set how many times the Spellblade will proc. It works it out automatically if it's not set. There's the auto attack and contact modifier, which is used for melee champions. Basically, this just says that a melee champion isn't in contact 100% of the time with an enemy champion, and therefore you can put a scale on that, and it will work out what the build should be, depending on how much contact you can keep. We can also limit the build to some amount of gold, so let's try 10,000. And it's now thinking about it, and we get a build. Not as it being limited to 10,000 gold, it hasn't just cut the build off, it's actually optimized in as much as it can to maximize the stats above. So it doesn't just cut the build off, it's actually worked out what's the best things I can get into the limited amount of gold I have. Okay, so yeah. Last but not least, go to Account, you can edit your guide, and from here you can basically you could add additional builds if you want. You can add wiki text if you like. As you can see, we now have a hi here. So yeah, so this is my League of Legends build website. Thanks for listening.